بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. In this second lecture for the cost-based pricing model, that we will talk about the break-even analysis, we need to make a quick revision of this idea that is a very famous one. It's with the books of finance and managerial accounting, and you have it in operation management. We have it here in purchasing and supply chain management. So let us remember what do we mean by the break-even analysis. Let me take rid of the previous models that we don't need them now, because we want to make a simple figure that makes us understand what is the break-even analysis in a simple word. Here we have two easels that talks about the quantity and the money. So here we have the quantity, and we have here the money. First cost item, we talk about the fixed cost. The money we pay for things, whether we are producing or not producing, we will pay them. Rent for the location that we are having as a facility or a shop. So this fixed cost is represented by this horizontal line. So here we have the fixed cost. It starts with a simple number. Think about, for example, $10,000 a year, you will pay it. So when you are producing zero, or a million or 100,000 unit, you are paying the $10,000. But this time, when you are producing zero, it means you are losing $10,000. When you are producing 1 unit, it means this one cost us $10,000. But when you are producing $100,000, it means each unit will cost you how much? It's $0.1, because we are dividing the $10,000 by the 100,000 units. It means 0.1. Number two, cost number two, which is the variable cost. And the variable cost, it starts from the zero and goes that way. So this is the variable cost. The variable cost starts from zero when production is zero, because it talks about the labor cost plus the material cost. If we produce one, we are costing ourselves, for example, $1. When you are producing a $100,000 unit, you are costing $100,000. So this cost is stable for 1 unit. It means, for example, the fixed cost and the variable cost, it equals $1 per unit. These are simple numbers. It means whenever we are producing more, the total variable cost is increasing. The fixed cost is stable. What kind of production we are producing, this one will stay the same. But this one is stable for 1 unit, but increases with the increased number of units. So what is the total cost? We start from this area. This is what we say it's the total cost. The total cost with the horizontal line parallel to with a parallel line to this one, starting with this area. This is what we call, it's the total cost. So this one is the total cost, because this one is horizontal to this one, but it starts from the fixed cost. So the total cost equals fixed cost plus the variable cost. So we have what is paid for rent plus the cost for each item produced that contains labor and material cost. We call them the direct cost. For example, this area, in this one, when we produce 1 unit, how much is the cost? Is a $10,001 cost. But what is the cost in this area? We talk about the 100,000 units. We talk about 100,000 variable cost plus 10,000 fixed cost. So we talk about $110,000 as a total cost. So what is the benefit for the organization? Is to produce more. Because if you are producing more, you are minimizing the cost share of the fixed cost for each item produced. This one is the same, is stable, like in this one, but this one is decreasing according to the larger number of units you are producing. What is the break-even analysis? We need to think about the price. What is the price, the selling price that we are selling? Usually the price is higher than the cost, the variable cost. So the price usually goes that way. This is the total sales. So the total sales and the total cost, these are the most important factors in having the break-even point. This is why we talking about, because this little area talks about higher amount of money generated from a higher price than the operating cost. This area is covering partially from piece to the other the fixed cost paid by the company until we reach a point. This point talks about two areas, this one and that one. This point means that the total cost equals the total sales. So this area means total sales equals total cost. So this is the perfect location for having the break-even. It means in our organization we covered all the fixed cost and all the variable cost for this quantity. For example, this quantity was about 50,000, for example, unit. We will have some certain numbers by doing and have an equation for this. For example, at the same time, what happens here is the total amount of money of sales that we need to do, and this sales we are doing equals the cost we are paying. So we are making zero profit. It's zero profit. So it's no profit. It's no profit, it's okay, but now I'm covering all the cost. Any unit produced after this area, it means this is profit for the organization. So any organization all the time try to find it's the break-even and what is the minimum amount of sales that it should do in order to cover all its cost, and any unit produced after this area, it means profit for the organization. Let's see the ideas in the book and see the example of the book that's a very simple summarizes this idea, and we hope you can find it simple and easy way to understand the formula or the phenomena or the idea of break-even analysis and to use it in any subject you will study. Break-even analysis talks about the cost and the revenue same time. Talks about the fixed cost, talks about the variable cost, talks about the sales, talks about how we can analyze the cost items and cover them by the sales. Top management uses strategic ideas of planning tools to consider how many units they should produce and sell in order to be safe, to cover all cost items. Purchasing managers use break-even analysis to what objectives? What kind of objectives we are looking for? They can see whether a target purchase price gives a reasonable profit to suppliers. Think about the supplier's cost and how we can estimate the production cost. Think about how we can assess or analyze different purchasing volumes and different purchasing prices, how they can negotiate the prices with the suppliers, how they can anticipate the pricing strategies. We have some assumptions with the break-even analysis. Cost and revenue associated with a product are in accurate format. Cost, we can have it in a fixed format and a variable format in a clear way. Fixed cost remain all the time constant. Variable cost are stable with the product and increases with the increase of production level. Revenue is directly proportion of the volumes of sales all the time. Break-even analysis consider total cost, and we can have these numbers promptly. We have here an example with certain numbers. I want to leave this example for you in order to read it carefully. You have the fixed cost, you have the variable cost, and you have the demand, you have the average selling price. It means the average selling price by the demand. You have the total sales, and you have the fixed cost, you have the variable cost. You can make some kind of simple calculations in order to know exactly the profit. It means if we have the demand multiplied by cost items minus this is the variable cost minus the fixed cost. This is the fixed cost deducted from the sales. We have 9,000 units to be sold with $10 each. So we have 90,000 units minus $6 is the cost, the variable cost, by about the same number, which is 9,000. So we have $30 dollars. So when you are deducting the $30,000 from these numbers, you have the $6,000 as profit. So the 9,000 is not the break even, it's lower than this, because when we are making profit, it's lower than this. When you are making loss, you are not reaching the break even. Here we have the figure that I wrote it on the board. You have this line represent the fixed cost, which is the 30,000, and this line represents the total cost, contains the variable and the fixed cost, and this line represents what represents the sales, the total sales, and they are reaching, these two lines are reaching together in number of units, which is 7,050 units. This represents what we say, this is the total number of units produced, and this $75,000 represents the total of amount of sales that we want to generate. We are covering the fixed cost, and what is remaining represents the variable cost. Any unit produced after this area represents profit for the organization, so this area is providing full profit for the organization. If we are moving downwards, it means still we are losing money because we are not covering the fixed cost. This is a simple chart with simple units, simple numbers. We hope you can understand this carefully and wish you all the best. A break-even idea is very simple, and usually we have it as a starting point for the entrepreneurs. Anybody would like to start his new business, we tell him this simple question: are you ready enough to make a certain type of sales that covers your cost, especially the fixed cost? So when you are covering the cost by producing 100 units, you are secured now. Go along to produce more in order to sell units that creates revenue, real revenue to your organization. What happens before the break-even point, the revenue created is to cover the fixed cost. What happens after the break-even, the revenue created is the real revenue for the owners. Thank you very much for your attention and careful following us, and wish you all the best, and see you again, and goodbye.